Hey, how you doing? It's your boy, Head Coach Ross of the ATACX Gym, Street Warrior in Gia Uhuru Kipura. And you know, as a street warrior, I have to be on the streets myself on the regular. And also, those of you who follow me regularly, you know that in Gia Uhuru is a Swahili term. It means the way of freedom. And Kipura is the correct Kikongo term that was mispronounced as Capoeira by Rafael Bluto, the Brazilian, in 1712. And that is where the word Capoeira came from. Furthermore, Kipura is the original warrior fighting system which spawned all the legends and all the efficacy, all the jaw-dropping amazement that you hear about the African warriors, not just in Brazil, but wheresoever we touched. And this is the art this is the legacy that an entirely different practice, which I call cardio capoeira, with that dance and exercise-oriented stuff that you see in Brazil now, is the legacy that cardio capoeira falsely claims as its own. It is not the same art, and it does not have that lineage at all. All right. However, my system, the Gia Uhuru Kipura, does retain the proper lineage and the skills, and as well as all of the acrobatics and fun and what have you that you see in cardio capoeira, but we insert it into its proper base, and we can actually fight with that, not just have fun with it. We can have fun with it, of course, but we can fight with it. And this is what you do not see the cardio capoeira cats do. Anyway, okay, what's this video about? Well, this is about your president, the hairpiece in chief. Hello, my beautiful sister. All right, the hairpiece in chief, 45, who was stinking up the Oval Office and is now the awful office. What he has done is he has as most of you know who follow the news, he has declared a national emergency in order to access a total of $8 billion to build the wall at the border that he has promised his nonsense, racist, irrational, zero fact-based fan base, which are primarily racists and people who don't know what the hell they're talking about anyway. So what does this have to do with anything, and why am I talking about it? Well, in addition to the 38 emails that you guys sent to me over the last 1 hour on this one topic, and the 102 emails that you guys sent to me over the last 2.5, 3 hours, and really actually total that would be about a week when we were talking about this whole issue in various other forums. I decided to respond about it, you know, with a video, because I've frequently made my position about this known when I've posted my response and with various written text responses. So, short version is this: Trump is really causing a stink here with this. You know, good old Rump 45 is really causing a stink with this here. First, he is initiating a precedent that really rankles the rest of the Republicans, meaning that were the Republicans able to reacquire the majority in Congress, and Congress is the combination of the Senate, and the House of Representatives. That's what the Congress are. The Congress is comprised of two branches, which are the complete total branches of the legislative branch. So, in addition to establishing a precedent that Democratic presidents can utilize to circumvent funding blocks that a Republican-controlled Congress would use to stop, you know, Democrats from doing completely sensible things like, funding healthcare, reducing the cost of school, fighting crime, you know, ensuring that we actually have enough money to live on, and, you know, on various other important stuff that the Republicans, by and large, don't give a hoot about. This also causes a fundamental constitutional clash regarding the separation of powers of the branches of government. Okay, one of the most important things that Congress does, besides declaring war, is also it controls the purse strings. It controls the money flow. All right, the president's main responsibilities are two, and I'm purposefully oversimplifying it for the purposes of this video in order to get into the core issues. The president's main purposes are two, which is to be the executive leader of the country of the United States and the commander-in-chief. So the president is roughly analogous to actually a president of a corporation in various national political responsibilities, combined with being the civilian leader of the military. Originally, the original idea of the founding fathers was that the president would also or almost always be a military person, him or herself. There are a few glowing different examples like Abraham Lincoln, but the majority of people who have become president up until recent modern times were themselves military personnel. They've spent time in the military, serving the country. So what does this mean? What this means is this: there's going to be all kinds of lawsuits which Trump is going to lose, regarding this. But by the time those lawsuits are resolved, Trump will already have had his $8 billion and spent it. So basically, he's rendered them moot, which from a political perspective is a calculated move that will be very effective for him in the short term, because he will then be able to reassure his nonsense mob of racist people who support the notion of a wall in across the border, that, hey, you know what, he's doing something, so continue to vote for him and support him. Now, let's delve into the issues, of the war and the realities of it, okay? And the issues he says are spawning it. Oh, there's criminality. Oh, there's an invasion of drugs and criminal. No, there's not. No, there's not. I can say this with authority, with personal authority, because unlike Trump, I actually lived in San Ysidro. Most of you who know me know I came up in Southeast San Diego, all right? And part of that time, I actually lived in San Ysidro. I mean, like a stone's throw from the border. You could see the border. I could climb to my roof and or just go to the second story windows and actually see the border. That's how close I was, all right? So, let me tell you something. Is there criminality there at the border? Yes. There are a lot of Democrats and other people who ignore this reality. But there is criminality there. There have been people who have been murdered and robbed and raped, and terrible stuff that's happened. And there is, and at no time do I or anyone else who opposes Rump's nonsense wall, at no time do we minimize or poo-poo or ignore or downplay or say that this type of criminality that criminality doesn't exist, because it does. But is the criminality anywhere near what Trump is talking about? No. Does it require a national emergency response? No. What it requires, believe it or not, is just a little extra more funding, for the San Ysidro police, who are doing the best they can under those circumstances. And overall, they're doing a terrific job. How do we know that overall, comparatively speaking, they're doing a terrific job? The reason is because look at the stats. Go Google this, so I'm not just making Google it. Go get this information so you can see it yourself. The crime statistics in San Ysidro is actually lower than that of San Diego and Los Angeles. Say this again. The crime statistics in San Ysidro is actually lower than that in San Diego and Los Angeles. Okay? So this is not an invasion. This is not an invasion, which steps me to the issue of the actual declaration of the national emergency. This is where the abuse of the power is. Okay? National emergencies are usually declared when we're looking at like massive hurricanes, like the kind that struck Puerto Rico, which should have been declared a national emergency, and it should have been handled a whole lot better by that idiot, 45, and wasn't. National emergencies occur when we're looking at times of civil unrest and civil rioting, which are extreme, like what happened in the Los Angeles riots, which I was front and center for. So I saw the whole thing. What's up, yo? So I saw the whole thing. Okay? Those are kind of things that traditionally evoke the use of the presidential powers to determine a national emergency. This situation right here is purely Rump, hashtag hair, peace, and chief, purely politicizing the pain and the angst, the sadness, the legitimate loss of real people, the quote-unquote angel moms, in order to profit personally. Trump wants to personally profit politically from their tragedies. He is also utilizing this narrative to further fracture and divide along racial and economic lines the United States, all for personal gain, a short-term personal gain, which has at its roots a wholly and entirely narcissistic personal purpose. That's the whole thing, top to bottom. He doesn't give a hoot about the angel moms. You know why we know he doesn't care about them or the illegal, quote-unquote illegal immigrants and stuff like that? Because he's hired them. Those people have worked for him for decades. How do we know he doesn't care anything about people of color? Because since the late 1960s or early 1970s, he's been hit repeatedly with federal lawsuits that allege and substantiate extreme racism on his part. This dude is a moron. There's nothing you can believe about this guy, except that there's nothing you can believe about this guy. And if you believe him, you're a moron. And there's no way you can support racist policies without being a racist yourself. There is no division. This is incredibly important, and I need to say this to some of my friends who follow and support Trump. There is no way you can support a racist policy along the lines of racial divisions without you being a racist yourself. If there's no way you can support Hitler in Nazi Germany, talking about dividing Nazi Germany along the lines that fracture and persecute and target European Jews, without being a supporter of the Nazi Party and a Nazi yourself. You can't do that. There is no division, or the separation is so minimal that there might as well not be one. There's no substantive separation there. And that's what it is with Trump. You cannot support racist policies without being a racist yourself. It's that simple. There are all kinds of simple ways, effective ways to address criminality. Those of you who know something about me know that I've worked HRSP, high-risk security posts, for decades, plural. You know that I personally have effected over 200 arrests, 265, of which more than half are felonies. All right, so you know that I'm not exactly the dude you want to talk to when and allege being soft on crime with. I personally have arrested all kind of people, every hue of human beings, and I've arrested a whole lot of black people. Wayne brothers, not brothers, they're criminals, and they needed every bit of the arresting that I gave them. But never one time did I do so along the lines of racial differentiation, racial persecution. This is not racist. You're a criminal. And I know from these kinds of issues, these kind of personal interactions, that the solution that we're looking at is very simple. It's exactly the same things that police have been saying, hey, this is the solution we need since the 1980s. You need better funding, you need better training, you need more officers. You also need longer training, not just better, but longer. The police officers need about 2 years of training, about 1 year and 8 months of which should be for hand-to-hand combat and shooting and de-escalation of direct conflict. The rest should be dealt with, of course, the legalities and how to approach circumstances in such a way that you're able to not only command utilize tactical command and tactical advantages, but also prevent from out the gate specific escalations of force on the part of the suspect and the police. This has a salutary effect upon the community. I know, because I've done it. I've done it for 20 years. And I've been right there when a bunch of cops have said the same thing. That this is what they want. Okay? So, this is how I know in the most integral way that what Trump is talking about is pure racism. It is pure narcissism. He is pitilessly profiting politically and personally. Check those P's out. You know, right? Getting my alliteration on. You know, he is pitifully profiting personally and politically from the pain, the real pain of these mothers and fathers and family members who have lost people due to criminality. The answer is not let's build a wall. The criminals wouldn't stop by the walls in the first place. You know what stops criminals? Cops. Okay? Home learning. These kinds of things, united communities across racial lines who oppose criminality, that's what stops criminality. How about that? Notice he's not talking about any of that. Instead, he's talking about a policy which is proven to be racist, to fracture people along racial and economic lines, and most importantly, it's proven to be illegal, ineffective, and not even what the police themselves are asked for. You want to stop criminality? Talk to the cops. They'll tell you how to stop it. Talk to the real cops, not just the racist cops. The real cops. Talk to people of the community. Together, we'll tell you how to stop it. We'll tell you what it is and what we need to do to stop it. It's not a fake invasion. Dude, this is not Mars. It's not Earth versus Mars, man. This is not green men coming down. This is not Battle of the Planets. Shut up. I'd like to know what your thoughts are about this matter. Whether you think I'm a moron for saying this, or you think I'm right on. You know, so please hit the subscribe button. Okay, go to my website, googlesites.com/ATACX Street Warrior Capoeira. We need your support. Okay, it's free for me to give you this stuff. It's free for you to receive these videos, but it's not free for me to produce them. Okay, so if you want us to keep on going, support us. All right. And of course, like always, you know, leave your comments at the end of this video. You know, like it. You know, share it on Facebook. And you take care of yourself. You be safe. Asante sana. Amani. Ashe.